We have got to stop meeting like this. And this is a state of illness. But Garv, I thought you lived in California. No, but I do, but it seems like I've got a summer home in the state of illness. Isn't it pronounced Illinois? No, I'm sick, dummy. I'm ill. That's what I mean. I have something wrong with me physically. No, we can tell. No, I'm sick. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. I was in Alaska all last week. I got sick 3 days ago on a Friday, and I'm still kind of dealing with it. I don't know if it's clear from my voice. You know, it's weird when no one comments on your voice at work. You start to think, do I just sound weird all the time? Like I woke up and I'm like, oh, my voice is a little gravelly. And I, logged into work, did it remotely, didn't show up in person, didn't want to be patient zero and infect everyone else. It was really an altruistic act I did. But for me, it was also awesome because I got to work from home. And let me tell you what, we've been back in the office, right, the past 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't the best. But I haven't gotten a taste of the other side, like what it used to be for 4 years. I got a taste today of working from home. It's amazing. More efficient, happier, grateful. What are we doing? Anyways, no one, maybe it was the Teams, Microsoft Teams quality, but no one really commented on the voice. They only knew I was sick because I said it. In fact, one person said, you sound great. New regiment? I was like, nope, this is okay. So what was it before? If this is better, then okay. But I'm very sick. This won't be a long episode. I'm so sorry. But earlier today, I was coughing a lot. And it still kind of comes in every so often. I don't know how long. I haven't talked for this long yet today. So I don't know how long I can go. I'm going to leave that one alone. But I coughed so much today. How much did you cough? I coughed so much. How much? I coughed so much. Your mother has her own her own orbit, gravitational pull. Sorry, I got my wires crossed. That's something completely different. But I coughed so much. I think I coughed for like 30 seconds straight earlier today. Gave myself a headache. I didn't know you could do that. Also, I don't like when people do that. When they're like, oh my God, I coughed for 7 minutes straight. No, you didn't. You'd be dead. But then I like to use reasonable, realistic numbers. I did cough for 30 seconds straight. And you're like, that's not that bad, Garv. Try it. Cough your heart out. Like you have something stuck in your lung, like a dime. Like you're trying to get a dime out of your lung. Cough for 30 seconds with that amount of vigor, and then you report back. And show your work. Yeah, show me the napkin where there's blood you spit out. Because that's what's going to happen, okay? Was that happening to you, Garv? I'm not going to go into details, okay? A lot of things have come out of my body these past 3 days. But a lot of great things have gone in my body too, because, there was a buffet on the cruise. But I'm not going to get into the cruise. I'll do it next time when I have more energy, because, I want to tell you all about the cruise. Everyone loves to hear about Alaskan cruises. They're really in. Now, I don't know about Alaskan cruises, but I have seen 3 other people my age go to Alaska the past few months, and I do wonder what's happening. Is there something in Alaska? Well, Garv, you went, you tell us. Well, no, I'm saying I seem to be struck by the, what is it when aliens abduct the cows off the fields? That pull. I feel some pull, and I don't know what spell I'm under. So I wonder, as a third-party bystander, someone witnessing, what's up? Why do suddenly the early 20s, Garv, come on, you're over the hump. Okay. Why do people in their 20s say mid? Why do people in their mid-20s? No, we were saying you were mid. Okay. Again, with the comments about the physical appearance, easy. You're the listener, not the talker, okay? But why do people in their mid-20s feel this sudden pull to go to Alaska? I mean, it's all the way down there, right? In the bottom left of the U.S. I said that joke, and someone genuinely thought that Alaska was in the bottom left of the U.S., near Hawaii. Because the joke there, right, for anyone that's stupid, is that on maps, they put it down there, because it's really up there. But then, to group it all together, to make it all fit in the same spot, they put it down there. It's kind of like if you're making a cake and a little bit falls off, you don't put it all the way up there, or you can't see, if you take a picture of the cake, you can't see it, you put it right below the cake. Even if you're going to serve it off to the side, right, maybe you made a few choice cupcakes, you still take a picture with them together, because you want to fit it all in the picture. That's what they did with the U.S. They put Hawaii and Alaska in the bottom left, so you could be like, oh yeah, they're there too. That makes sense? But I made that joke and someone genuinely believed me, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Okay. I talked about this, I think, a month ago, And I was like, a big part, I feel like, of the humor I like to lean into is being a dumbass. We can tell, Gauruv. Okay. Yeah. No, that was better. At least you didn't attack my physical appearance, which is what I focus on, really. And there you go again. Strike 3, you're out. Get the fuck out of here, okay? Walk the plank, huh? That's topical, because the cruise ship thing. But I did have an instance the first week back at work. I've been meaning to tell you, but I did make a fool of myself because of that very thing I do, where I like intentionally act like a dumbass, because that's like my favorite type of humor. It's easily accessible, I guess. But we were at a team lunch, right? Third day back at work. It was Wednesday. And we were all sitting there, my team and I, and someone was talking about their daughter and how she's really getting into the guitar. And he was surprised. You know, he was saying she's a righty, or no, she's a lefty, but she plays the guitar like a righty. And he was like, I don't know whether or not to interfere. And everyone was like, no, let her. It's good. It works both sides of her brain. That's actually great. You're actually getting a kid with a superpower there. He even took her to Guitar Center. He said, is this a problem? Which is, not a great thing to do, to go to a Guitar Center and ask them to diagnose your daughter. Everyone there probably needs to see a doctor. But he asked the Guitar Center person, hey, is that going to be a problem? He's like, no, leave it. He's like, sometimes this happens. Sometimes a kid will be dominantly one-handed, but then when they play an instrument, switches over. It's something we have observed, and I think it's great. Let her be, if that's what comes natural. Like LeBron. Why did I know this much about LeBron Ramon James? But LeBron, he writes with his left hand, but he's a predominantly right-handed basketball player. Same thing with this coworker's daughter. And everyone was talking about it. And then someone was like, well, what is that? I've seen that too. Some people, right, they can just draw a picture with both their hands, and it's the exact same, whether they use right or left. And I turned and I looked at my manager and I said, hey, you know what they call that, right? Being amphibious. And he scoffed and he said, that's stupid. But he got I was joking. Well, 3 seconds later, a coworker of mine that sat next to me goes, no, wait, isn't it called being ambidextrous? I was like, no, I know that. And then he genuinely thought I didn't know. Because how can you convince someone? You just said like a very dumb thing, but it's like right there. It's right there in terms of believability. So he bought it. But I said it with the tone and the look in my eyes to my manager where he was like, oh, yeah. And he knows me just well enough, right? To be like, oh, he's joking. But what the hell? And so I look fucking stupid to that person. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't get to have a good example a month ago when I was explaining it, but that's like an example of what would go wrong. They call it being amphibious. And a joke is there for the people that understand I'm fucking not stupid. But then it does make you wonder, what does this coworker then think of me? Because he's like, it's ambidextrous. And it is believable enough to me that you would make a mistake like that. So I need to tell you. I need to correct the course. But we're back, right, from Alaska. And it's even cold in California. The weather is pretty much the same. It was a perfect fade transition. And I actually like it. And I do like talking about the weather too. People sometimes knock on talking about the weather, but I love it. I think it's an easily accessible conversation. And the beauty of talking about the weather is that it's same base of the conversation, but the interesting part is you get to see how someone's going to dress up that base. It's kind of like buying frozen yogurt. Everyone goes in there and they get a swirl, chocolate, vanilla, something like that. Something basic, right? The base is all kind of the same. There's no variability there. But then they go over to the topping station and you see the artist at work and you see, oh, maybe they do a little chocolate sprinkles. Maybe we do rainbow sprinkles with the chocolate sprinkles. Interesting. Then they're going to go some Oreo chunks, then cheesecake chunks, then Rolo bits. Wow. I mean, they've been working out, but maybe I got to take some notes because how are they able to suffer such a blow and get up and look that fine the next morning? So that's why I like talking about the weather. It's like dressing up frozen yogurt. Because, yeah, inherently, it's not that interesting. Some people will just pour vanilla and then walk and be like, yeah, here, this is what I got. And you're like, you don't want to put anything on it? Like, why would I? It's a frozen yogurt place, right? It's not a crushed Oreo place. I'm like, all right. Jesus. So that's how I feel like some people treat conversations. You're like, how's the weather? And then they can get really interesting with it. They're like, well, I get really clammy in the summer. So this is a nice change of pace. I'm not sweaty in weird places. I'm like, okay, well, let's not I appreciate the honesty, but I don't like how sticky this conversation is. That's like someone getting vanilla ice cream and then just putting caramel on it, but just a little too much caramel, right? Because you're like, okay, that's, yeah, it's traditional, but I feel like there's no way I won't get sticky. There's no way I leave this conversation, leave this frozen yogurt experience without getting my hands all dirty and needing to, run to the wash real quick. So yeah, that's what's going on at work, huh? And I encourage you, if you want to, if you feel like the weather conversation is burdensome due to its simplicity, indulge in it. Have some fun. Jump around the place, right? Let your creativity flow. They say the most creative you can be is when you have restrictions, because then you got to work inside the box. People always say work outside the box, but then you don't have to be creative because you have all this room to play in. When you have to truly be creative is when you're locked in a box. And when you're talking about the weather, yes, you're operating in this finely tuned box. That's why we like sports, right? Because the rules are defined. And then you're really oohed and awed when someone gets creative within those rules. You're like, oh my God, I even think that you could do that. That's crazy. So I implore, I really invite you to have some fun with the weather conversation as the days get nippy. On the cruise, I know I wasn't going to talk about the cruise, but there was this like game show night. Game show night was different, but there were some comedian magicians, and they invited these 3 people on stage, and this guy had a really, really tight polo. And so you could see, his headlights were on, and one of the magicians, it was a passing comment. I feel like not that many people heard it because there were a couple sprinkled in laughs, but not a thunderous roar that it deserved, but he went, oh yeah, it's quite cold in Alaska, isn't it? I was like, oh my fuck. I was like, can he say that? That's crazy. It's a tight polo, but yeah. But he's got the high beams on. Thanks, by the way, last week for noticing the glasses. Yes, they're new. I was trying to pick out a new pair of glasses earlier this year, but unfortunately, I feel like they were just too narrow in my head. Like the things out here were pointing inwards. I even went to my eye doctor and I was picking out glasses, and I asked one of the helping people at the front desk, I was like, hey, look at this picture. I was like, why does it seem like the glasses are pointing in? And she said, well, you got a big noggin. You got to account for that. I'm like, okay, we could have made it more about you could have said the glasses were tight. You didn't have to make it. Okay. No, I get they're sitting on me, but you picked a weird thing to comment on there. So then she helped me, pick these out. And I like them. I think they're good. And she was happy for me, the lady that helped me pick these out. Because when I went to pick them up, there was a little note written on whatever the receipt was, and it said, first pair of glasses in 8+ years. And so the person that was helping me try them on was like, oh my God, this is your first pair in 8 years? I was like, well, it's like the first new style I've gotten. But I'm like, but my last pair, I've had those physical pairs since 2019. She was like, oh my God. I'm like, let's not all act so shocked around here, okay? Let's act like this is a normal thing to do. She's like, but it's not. I'm like, okay, yeah, actually, this is a very, very fair reaction. So I'm glad. It seems like it's been met with a great response. I like them. I like these glasses. How could I ever be doing what I used to be doing, is what we always say. Any social media platform that gets a redesign, oh, they fucked it. 8 months later when they do the next update, oh, well, they fucked it. They had it perfect. 6 months later, new update. Oh, they fucked it. It was perfect, Song I've been listening to this week. Love it. It's a new song, new release by the one and only Ray. It is Where's My Husband by Ray. Really like that song. So give it a listen. I know I'm going to be listening to it very much as I try to recover over this next week. And next week I'll report on the cruise. I'll tell you all the ins and outs of it. All the ebbs and flows. Well, Gauruv, those are called waves. That's what the ship was sitting on. Oh, that's what that was. I thought I was just wet. Okay. let's be done there. I told you I was sick. Yeah, sick in the head. Oh, there you go again. About me and my physicals, huh? But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always, always appreciate the support. Hey, welcome to fall. We're getting into October here, huh? Entering Q4. Let's tighten up before the holidays. Okay, team? Let's leave those comments and likes on there. Appreciate the support. Thank you, as always, for listening and watching. Sorry for the short episode. I will be better next week. I know I will. I'm getting better. even though it may not look like it. Oh, now I'm taking my own shots at myself. God, I'm just like you. I'm relating to you. I'm also hating myself. Okay, let's. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you next week. Okay.